Good day, everyone. Hello. How is everyone doing? Right. After, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I nearly gave myself a brain aneurysm. Rage induced. Let's have a look at today's Prime Minister's questions. Let's hope I don't lose my shit today. Once again, if you haven't seen any of my stuff before, I am not as polite as Political X or Maximilian Robespierre or a different bias. I'm not as polite as those good people. Just so you're warned. And I might get interruptions from my rats. So, yeah.
Is available to watch on Parliament Live TV. We start with questions, Prime Minister. Dame Meg Hillier.
Number one, Mr. Speaker.
Number one.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others in addition to my duties in this House. I shall have further such meetings later today.
Oh, of course.
Dame Meg Hillier.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister promised integrity, professionalism and accountability in government.
He did. He said it on the steps down the street.
His Home Secretary has leaked information, is overseeing chaos in the Home Office and has broken the law. What will she actually have to do to get the sack?
Mr. Speaker, the Home Secretary made an error judgment, but she recognised her mistake and took accountability for her actions.
Just because you say sorry doesn't mean you get your job back, especially with something so serious, you fucking bellend.
But she has now set out transparently, in detail, a full sequence of events in a letter to the Labour Chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee, offered to share relevant documents with the Chair, and she is now getting on with the job, cracking down on crime, defending our borders, something I know the party opposite has no interest in supporting.
We have no interest in supporting bills that are draconian and are Nazi-like in behaviour. That's why we won't support it, Bellend.
My 19-year-old Congleton constituent, Mary, who has been in care much of her life, has worked long and hard by childminding and in other ways to save £3,600 to help support herself at university. Mary now faces her university studies with no savings and no means of recovering them because it has all been stolen from her in a few seconds by a heartless scammer pretending to be her bank. What assurance can the Prime Minister give that the government is working hard to help prevent this type of all too common, despicable crime and bring the perpetrators to book?
Well, I'm very sorry to hear about Marie's case that my honourable friend raises, and I know how convincing scammers can be and the upset and hurt that they cause. I'm pleased to reassure my honourable friend that the government...
Do you know how these people can be? Do you? Are you one of them? Just asking.
Shortly be publishing our fraud strategy, which will establish a more unified, coordinated response from government and law enforcement and the private sector to block more scams and to better protect the public.
We now come to the Leader of the Opposition, Keir Starmer.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. His Home Secretary says the asylum system is broken.
Yep.
Who broke it?
Nah. Short and sweet.
Well, Mr. Speaker, let's just we can look at the record on migration policy. Let's look at it.
Let's do that.
What did we on this side of the House do? We gave the British people a referendum on Brexit.
You gave them a referendum on Brexit, on which the information to which they were fed was lies.
We delivered Brexit.
No, we've done Brexit, but you're still delivering it because you didn't do it right.
Ended the free movement of people, Mr.
Like, that's a good thing.
Speaker. That's our record on migration policy. It's not something the honourable gentleman supported. He opposed it at every turn, and it's not what the British people want.
No one wants open borders on this side of the House. They've lost control of the borders on their side of the House. Mr. Speaker, four Prime Ministers in 5 years, and it's the same old, same old. He stands there and tries to pass the blame. If the asylum system is broken, and his lot have been in power for 12 years, how can it be anyone's fault but theirs?
Fucking right, Keir.
Mr. Speaker, people rightly want to see us getting a grip of migration in our borders.
We've had 12 years. Dolph.
Let's look at the record. The right honourable gentleman, he voted against the nationality and borders.
Yes, because it's a pile of wank. It's a pile of shite that I wouldn't even deign to rip up and put as bedding for my rats. So, fuck you, Rishi Sunak.
He said he would scrap the Rwanda partnership.
Yep.
He opposed the ending of free movement of people.
In the way that you wanted to do it, and I mean, I kind of.
Look, border control is a serious, complex issue. But not only does the party opposite not have a plan, they have opposed every single...
Actually, we have got a plan. We've mentioned part of that plan. You're just chatting bullshit in the middle of the Commons there, mate.
Measure we have taken to solve the problem. You can't attack a plan if you don't have a plan.
We voted against it because we said it wouldn't work, and it hasn't worked. He says he's getting a grip, he's got a plan. So let's have a look at that plan. The Rwanda deal was launched in April. It cost the taxpayer £140 million and rising. The number of people deported to Rwanda is 0. Since then, 30,000 people have crossed the channel in small boats. It's not working, is it? He hasn't got a grip.
Mr. Speaker, we on this side of the House are clear that we want to defend our borders. When the Shadow Home Secretary this weekend
the same bullshit
was
over and
asked,
over
she
again.
couldn't answer a simple question if the party opposite was in favour of higher or lower migration. It's that simple. The Home Secretary and I, when it comes to tackling
That's because it's not a clear-cut issue. You smug little wanker.
Page, Mr. Speaker.
The right wing really like to dig this in. Oh, do you want open borders or closed borders? Open borders or closed borders? Well, as your fucking Prime Minister just said, it's not that fucking simple, is it? And then he goes and says, do you want a closed border or an open border? Ah! You can't say it's a complex issue and then say that one side wants closed borders and the other one wants open. Because otherwise it's not complex then, is it, you stupid twat?
Mr. Speaker, blame others, deflect, attack on something
exactly.
else. So much the new age of accountability.
Boom.
Of all the people who arrived in small boats last year, how many asylum claims have been processed?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we do need. Mr. Speaker, not enough is the answer.
Nah.
Not enough. And that's what we're going to fix. But the Honourable
You've had 12 years in power.
Increase the number of processing officials by 80%. We are putting an extra 5 more by next March. But if he really was serious about fixing this problem, then he would acknowledge that we do need to tackle the issue of people putting spurious claims. Spurious, repeated, last-minute claims to frustrate the process. That's how we'll tackle the system. So why then...
there are 1 or 2 people on average per day that do that. The majority that put claims in saying that they should not be deported, majority of them are right because you lot are xenophobic assholes.
Did he vote against the Nationality and Borders Act, which deals with it?
It's a pile of wank! The Nationality and Borders Bill is fucking ridiculous. As I said, I wouldn't even deign to rip it up and put it as bedding for the rats. It just not even worth that.
Mr. Speaker, he says not enough. You could say that again. It's 4%. 4% of people arriving in small boats last year had their asylum claim.
That's not a case of needing to fix it, mate. You've left it. They've let. Okay. Non-absolutism here. It is possible. I'm not going to say it is exactly what's happening because I'm non-absolutist. However, it is entirely possible that what the Tories have been doing is letting the immigration side of things get worse, so they have a villain to fight when they know it's going to be a point of they're going to have to fucking leave office. When they knew when they were going to be fighting for their lives to stay in office, that they were going to need some ammunition. If this was Tories playing the long game and making it so our immigration borders, our immigration system would be broken so they'd have a weapon to fight with, supposedly, then that is utterly reprehensible. And actually, isn't that treason? You're dismantling a part of the state for your own ends.
Processed. According to the bookies, the Home Secretary has a better chance of becoming the next Tory leader than she has of processing an asylum claim in a year. And he talks about numbers. They're only taking half the number of asylum decisions that they used to. That's why the system is broken. 4,000 people at the Manston Air Force Base, massively overcrowded, all sorts of diseases breaking out. So, did the Home Secretary receive legal advice that she should move people out? Yes or no?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the right honourable gentleman is very fond of reminding us that he used to be the former Director of Public Prosecution. So he knows the government's policy on commenting on legal advice. But what I can say is a significant action that the Home Secretary has taken.
Even so, it's a perfect line for Starmer to
30 more
fight
hotels with 4,500 new beds. Appointing a senior general to control the situation at Manston, and indeed increasing the number of staff there by almost a half, Mr. Speaker. These are significant steps to demonstrate that we are getting a grip of this system. But this is a serious and escalating problem. We will make sure that we control our borders, and we will always do it fairly and compassionately because that's the right thing.
Here's Starmer. Mr. Speaker, he talks about my time as Director of Public Prosecution. I prosecuted people smugglers. He can't even get an asylum claim processed.
Fucking owned. Wounded me.
I think the answer to the question whether the Home Secretary received legal advice to move people out of Manston is yes. He just hasn't got the guts to say it. He did a grubby deal with her, putting her in charge of Britain's security just so he could dodge an election. She's broken the ministerial code, lost control of a refugee centre, and put our security at risk. She did get one thing right. She finally admitted that the Tories have broken the asylum system. Criminal gangs running amok, thousands crossing the channel in small boats every week, hardly any claims processed. So why doesn't he get a proper Home Secretary, scrap the Rwanda gimmick, crack down on smuggling gangs, end the small boat crossings, speed up asylum claims, and agree an international deal on refugees? Start governing for once and get a grip.
Much I couldn't put it back myself.
Mr. Speaker, the right honourable gentleman.
Front rows. Can we just calm it down a little? I do want to hear the replies. You're covering your mouth's not helpful to me or you. Come on, Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the right honourable gentleman rightly raised the topic of national security, because it is important. But this is the person who in 2019 told the BBC, and I quote, "I do think Jeremy Corbyn would make a great prime."
Jeremy Corbyn was leader of the Labour Party at the fucking time. He had to say that, so as not to show party disunity, just like you lot. And also, Corbyn no longer leader. Not even sure he's part of the party at the moment. So, once again, just like with Johnson, it's a redundant argument. It's an empty argument. Fucking twat. It is. Like, oh, this is the man who said that Jeremy Corbyn would make a good leader. It's because he would have, wouldn't he? He made a better leader than any of you lot.
Minister, let's remember, Mr. Speaker, let's remember that national security agenda, abolishing our armed forces, scrapping the nuclear deterrent.
Right, again, this was on the extreme end of what he wanted, of what Corbyn wanted. You know, the thing about it is a lot of people did not agree with him on, especially the military. So, Corbyn is not an unreasonable person.
Withdrawing from NATO, voting against every single anti-terror law we try, befriending Hamas and Hezbollah. He may want to forget about it, but we will remind him of it every week, because it's a Conservative government that will keep this country safe.
My God. Pile of horse show.
I refer to my register of interest. Mr. Speaker, right now we are suffering the worst outbreak of avian flu ever recorded. Hundreds of thousands of birds are being destroyed to stem the spread of this terrible disease. The government's acted quickly to bring forward compensation for live birds culled to 48 hours after confirmation of disease. But even this short delay is causing significant losses to farmers in Broadland as the disease wreaks havoc to flocks. Dead birds are not compensated. Today is Back British Farming Day. Will my right honourable friend take this opportunity to back British farmers and agree compensation for all affected birds from the date when disease is confirmed?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as someone who represents a very rural and farming community, it is a great pleasure to back British Farming Day and join my colleagues on all sides of the House in doing so. But my honourable friend is right to highlight that outbreaks of avian flu this year are on track to be some of the worst on record. That's why we've toughened up biosecurity measures on poultry farms. And I can say to him that we have confirmed we will now pay compensation from the outset of planned culling rather than at the end. A request that I know he and the farming sector will warmly welcome.
Leader of the SNP, Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In May of this year, the new Prime Minister told this chamber, and I quote, "I can reassure the House that next year's benefits will be uprated by this September CPI, and the triple lock will apply for the state pension." But last week, the Prime Minister repeatedly refused to say if he would keep to a promise that he made only 5 months ago. Prime Minister, people don't need to hear any more spin about compassionate conservatism. People just need a straight answer to a simple question. Will he keep his promise and lift benefits and pensions in line with inflation?
Answer that, you little cunt.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we do now have an excellent new Chancellor, and I'm looking forward to his autumn statement in a couple of weeks. It wouldn't be
Once again, no, he's not going to
comment
answer.
on individual policy measures before then, but I think everyone knows we do face a challenging economic outlook and difficult decisions will need to be made. But what I would say is that we will always, as my track record...
There are market and world and global things going on, but the Tories made it worse in this country.
What as Chancellor demonstrates, have fairness and compassion at the heart of everything we do.
Bullshit.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it was a very simple question asking for the Prime Minister to reiterate
Yes or no answer.
what he promised just 5 months ago. For the second week running, he still won't give a straight answer to the most vulnerable that require support. The Prime Minister keeps telling us that difficult decisions need to be made, but austerity 2.0 isn't a difficult decision. It is what it has always been, a Tory political choice to hit the poorest hardest. In the week that BP saw quarterly profits of £7.1 billion, why not take the easy decision to bring in a proper windfall tax? Why not take the easy decision to reinstate the cap on bankers' bonuses? Why not take the easy decision to scrap the non-dom tax avoidance? And with all that
None of that's
revenue,
Tory.
why not stand up today and take the easiest decision of all, to protect those most in need and increase benefits and pensions in line with inflation?
Mr. Speaker, the honourable gentleman raised the issue of North Sea, and this is a point of significant difference between his party and ours. As Chancellor, I introduced the new levy on oil and gas companies because I believe that was the right thing to do. But where we will always differ is we believe that our North Sea producers do have an important role to play in our transition to net.
If the Scottish believe they can go faster by not digging up oil and adding more renewables, surely that's up to them, not you.
Zero, they are an important source of transition fuels, and we will make sure that we support them to invest in exploiting those resources for the British people.
Exploiting. I don't like that word.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I firstly welcome the IPU delegation from Madagascar who are in today's viewing gallery. More locally, I'm delighted that next year Openreach will be rolling out ultra-fast broadband in Wigginton in my constituency. But other rural areas of South West Hertfordshire, like Dudswell, are still in dire need of better connectivity. Can the Prime Minister update the House on the progress of the £5 billion Project Gigabit?
Prime Minister, my honourable friend is absolutely right to recognise the role of broadband in providing levelling
up. If I remember rightly, the recommended price tag for that was about 15 million, 20 million, right? So that it would be done with quality. 5 million.
Opportunities across our economy. That's why we invested £5 billion in Project Gigabit, and now we have 71% of UK premises having access to this from just 5% when we came into office. I'm very pleased to tell my honourable friend that we will be launching a procurement to provide gigabit coverage for his area in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister will know that it's Scotland's energy resources that feed corporate profits and keep His Majesty's Treasury pumped full of cash to the tune of £8 billion in the last 9 months alone. In return, candidates in the summer Tory leadership contest tried to outdo each other in their contempt and hostility to Scotland's democracy. So without falling back on the "you've had your vote" trope, can the Prime Minister tell me, is Scotland in a voluntary and respectful union of equals as claimed in 2014, or are we
Tories believe
in a
they own Scotland,
British colony?
Despite the fact that Scotland don't like it.
Mr. Speaker, what people across Scotland rightly want to see is both their governments working constructively together to improve their lives.
You're not working constructively for them, though, are you?
Is actually supporting Scottish energy producers, which he is right, have a vital role to play in enabling our transition to net zero and improving our energy security, and those Scottish companies will have our full support.
Scott Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nearly 40,000 illegal immigrants have crossed the Channel so far this year.
Bullshit. Right. I made it 20 minutes into this, and there's another 15 minutes left, and I can't do anymore. I just... It's not that it bores me, it's that it's winding me up. And I thought the main bits here were the bits you might want to see. However, where is it? There.
Mr. Speaker, will the PM join me in condemning opaquely funded so-called think tanks who exert so much influence on gullible politicians that their policies were able to almost crash the UK economy just weeks ago. Open Democracy reports a former member of the Charity Commission the board has called for the Institute of Economic Affairs to be stripped of its charitable status, saying the very purpose of the IEA, shrinking the state, is political. Is it right this body receives charitable tax status? And will the PM meet with me to discuss the influence bodies such as the IEA exert on politicians?
Sticking the boot in. I like this.
What influence they still have with him?
Well, Mr. Speaker, obviously charitable status is a matter for the Charities Commission, but more generally, I actually do believe in free speech and vibrant debate of ideas. That is a good thing.
Sunak.
We should do absolutely nothing to stamp it out, even when we disagree with it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hang on a minute. Hang on, just one fucking moment. Let me rewind that. What did he just fucking say? What did that slimy cunt just fucking come out with?
For a matter for the Charities Commission, but more generally, I actually do believe in free speech and vibrant debate of ideas. That is a good thing, and we should do absolutely nothing to stamp it out, even when...
Right. That makes so much sense, considering what you've done to people who protest in this country. That has to be the biggest lie that he said out of the entire Prime Minister's questions. If there's a bigger one, like, let me know, but this has to be the biggest, surely?
And we disagree with it.
Even if we look, you disagree with Steve Brait, and yet you still fucking made his shit illegal. It's complete bullshit. That is an actual lie. He's just barefaced lied in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the run-up to the autumn statement, will my right honourable friend do everything he can to persuade the Chancellor to assist those people who took out mortgages in good faith and now are at risk of losing their homes through unaffordable increases?
Yeah. Limit the increase in interest rates, because ultimately that is what puts pressure on people's mortgage payments. That's what this government is determined to do. And in the short term, there are support available through the welfare system for those with mortgage payments, and I hope he can direct his constituent today.
Not enough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given the continued Russian invasion and the now illegal annexation of parts of Ukraine, will the Prime Minister recommit his government to pursuing the full and proper accountability, including through the International Criminal Court, of those who violate international law in territories that they occupy? And in particular, will he pursue the rigorous application of the Fourth Geneva Convention in terms of the treatment of civilian populations in militarily occupied areas?
The honourable gentleman for his question, which is absolutely right. I can confirm we will continue with the policy that the previous government put in place, and I think it's something that we can be proud of, that we provided, I think, the earliest technical support to gather evidence to put cases together for future prosecutions at the ICC. We will continue to NGP recruitment to make sure that everyone in this country has access to the primary health care that they need and deserve.
Chris Bland.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm not going to be bullied into silence by anybody.
Fucking right, Chris. Tell him.
With the highest peacetime
He's actually got quite a powerful voice.
Food inflation running at 11.6%, mortgage rates rising dramatically, and a £50 billion hole in the public finances, the Prime Minister knows that Britain's broke. What is it about the 12 years of Tory rule and 5 years of him as a minister that has made such a mess of Britain?
Question.
Well, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the economy, the honourable gentleman just failed to mention the single biggest cause of the challenges that we face right now, which is absolutely the aftermath of a global...
Oh my fucking... So it's got nothing to do with 12 years, with a decade before the pandemic of Tory cuts. It's got nothing to do with a decade of Tory inactivity on important issues. No? No. The single biggest reason is the pandemic. Bullshit! I'm fed up of these Tories trying to blame everyone else but themselves.
Pandemic, which has affected supply chains across the world, and an illegal war being conducted.
Yes, these things are happening, but you fucked this country before it happened. Stop trying to blame everything else.
By Putin.
This government will be one that is accountable. Will it fuck?
Which is leading to high energy prices. These are the root cause of the challenges we are facing.
No, it's not. They are part of the root challenges. They are some of the root challenges. The other root challenge is you in power, because you have done nothing for the good of the people of this country apart from surface culture war shit. And I can back that up. Anyone who has an unbiased point of view can back up the fact that the Tories have done nothing good for this country, nothing apart from culture war bullshit. Nothing.
In nature, it is wrong to say that they are particular to this country now, and we will, of course,
bullshit,
do what we always do on this side of the house
and fuck things up.
Deliver a strong economy for the British
bullshit
people.
No, you won't. You'll try and deliver us a weak economy that only gives profit to yourself, because you can't do a strong economy because you're useless. You fucking wanky.
In last summer's heatwave, people across Essex witnessed terrible fires. And last month in Ethiopia, I witnessed the horrific climate change-driven drought that is forcing millions of people across the Horn of Africa to the brink of famine. I've discussed climate change with my right honourable friend. I know he cares, and it's great.
Oh, does he care?
Summer shake. But we, the UK, brought the world to Glasgow for COP20.
Another U-turn. Another Tory U-turn. This guy is weak. Rishi Sunak is almost as weak as Liz Truss. Not quite, but almost. U-turn. Again, I'm not going to COP. Oh, now I'm going to COP because everyone bitched at me for it. Weak! If you have a position that you think is correct, back it up with actual evidence. Don't just back down when everyone turns against you just because they think you're wrong. I mean, he was wrong, this is true. But the point is he didn't even try to defend himself. He's weak.
26. It's vital that we remain world leaders on climate change. So please confirm this government will fulfil the promises that we, the UK, made in Glasgow.
Yes, well, can I thank
the point of believing a word this man says? He's weak.
He has played in us championing the fight against climate change. And I agree with her. There is no long-term prosperity without action on climate change, and there is no energy security without investment in renewables. That's why I will attend COP27 next
week. Then why were you arguing against onshore wind farms, you bellend?
On Glasgow's legacy of building a secure, clean and sustainable future.
Bullshit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While the Prime Minister was secretly recorded boasting to friends that he had helped divert money away from deprived areas like Coventry towards wealthy areas, staff of Coventry's hospital are still paying £600 a year to park at work. So when will the Prime Minister stop hammering working people in my community?
Fucking right.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think the honourable lady was asking about car parking in NHS hospitals, if I'm understood her rightly. We did introduce temporary free car parking during the pandemic.
That's the point, dickhead. Temporary. You got rid of it at the earliest convenient position, at the earliest convenient point. Just like the temporary uplift in universal credit. You didn't care the effect it had on people when you got rid of it. You got rid of it at the earliest convenient opportunity. Not the earliest opportunity. He tried that and got bitched at even by his own backbenchers for it. But he still got rid of it at the earliest convenient opportunity. He does not care. And he will continue to care. Oh, we are caring, compassionate, conservative government. No. You are conning conservative cunts.
The right thing to do. And now all NHS trusts that charge for parking have implemented our free parking manifesto commitment for those in the greatest need, including hard-working NHS staff who work overnight.
Oh, insult!
On Back British Farming Day, will the Prime Minister recognise with all members of the House the important role that farmers take and recognise that public money for public good means producing food in this country? But could he also recognise the value that our trade deals are...
What value? The trade deals are of no value to us. They're of value to the Australians and the New Zealanders. They were laughing at us, you Tory fool. Oh, look at us with our Brexit trade deals that are worse than the ones we would have had if we stayed in the EU. Fucking idiots.
Doing in allowing us to export our high-quality produce around the world, in particular the Australia Agreement, where a member of this House will be able to enjoy a certain delicate cut in his bush trucker top.
This is bullshit. We got such a bad deal, and this fucking dickhead thinks, oh, it's fantastic. Oh, what a nodding dog I am. Prick.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I agree with my honourable friend. British farmers are indeed the lifeblood of our nation. I join him in celebrating their contribution.
Then what was this bullshit yesterday about this weird thing you're going to be doing to farmers? If you're not sure on that, check out A Different Bias. Phil Morehouse, A Different Bias. His video yesterday really spun me out.
I agree with him, we need to prioritise food security, and he is right to champion free trade deals. They open up new markets and new opportunities.
It's worse than the one we had before! You liar!
For great British produce, and we will continue to open up more markets for our farmers everywhere.
It's not!
Mr. Speaker, can I welcome the first Prime Minister from Yorkshire for a very long time, but I'm trying to be kind to him this morning. Isn't it the fact that since he resigned as Chancellor of the Exchequer on the 5th of July, we've had the most turbulent economic and political disaster in our country that any of us can remember? And when he reflects on that, will he also think why, when he was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, he did not help ordinary working people as well as he could?
Did you hear that from the other from the Tory side of the house? What? What? What are you talking about? What? Yeah, he's bang on. As I've already said, a temporary cut to the car parking fees because you don't give a fuck. You want to give the veneer of giving a fuck. The temporary uplift to universal credit. Temporary because you wanted to give a veneer of giving a fuck. Fucking Tory.
And can he now take the opportunity to tax the non-DOMs, who are 70,000 of them, that are getting away with avoiding tax, and
by huge amounts,
tax on windfall profits on the gas and oil and
of which they have said, tax us, we can take it, we won't not invest in this country anymore, what you're saying is bullshit. And they're still going, no, we can't do windfall taxes because no one's going to invest. What? The rich people are asking to be taxed, and the Tories are still going, no, we won't do it.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud of my record as Chancellor in this country.
Why? Why are you proud of being a Chancellor in this country? Oh, because of the furlough system. What? The furlough system that could have been improved, but you refused to. Oh, what are you proud of? Oh, what? The 11 billion or 15 billion or whatever it is, 14 billion pounds in fraud that you just spaffed up the wall because you couldn't be asked to get it back. That's a great way to fill in the hole in the deficit in this country instead of making us pay for it, cunt.
And maybe the honourable gentleman could talk to the 10 million people who had their jobs saved through furlough.
How many people are in this country? Let me have a look. Just England alone, right? Ooh. UK. Actually, no, you know what? Working population. So, hang on, let me put that back here. Right. So, he said, well, he said 10 million people. He said he helped. 10 million. So what about the other 22.8 million people, Mr. fucking Sunak? What about them? Prick. Oh, I'm proud of saving 10 million people. Oh, you're saving a third of the working people, the third of the jobs of working people. Not even a half. Yeah, that's a great record, Bellend.
Maybe he could talk to the millions of those on the lowest incomes who benefited from the changes we made to universal credit.
Which you took away! Stop smiling about it, you smug prick!
This will always be a fair and compassionate
government. No, it won't, because you're a liar!
As the most vulnerable at our heart.
Oh, the insult is insane!
Mr. Speaker, with only 2 out of 10 autistic adults currently in employment, it's clear that much more needs to be done to realise their potential. Will my right honourable friend work?
Then invest in education properly,
sure
then,
that business
Bellend.
and industry help close that alarming employment gap?
Well, I know this is an area that my right honourable friend rightly champions and knows an enormous amount about. I look forward to working with him closely to get his.
I didn't want to do the rest of this video because I know I was going to get more wound up, but fuck it.
Of those who need our help.
Sarah Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Leader of the Opposition asked the Prime Minister who broke the asylum system.
He did.
He dodged the question.
Yes, he did.
The truth, Mr. Speaker, is that the backlog is now so great, decision-making so collapsed, and returns so low at 1/10 of what they used to be, that the criminal gangs have a business model to die for. Whose fault is that?
Mr. Speaker, the reason we are in this situation is because of the unprecedented number.
If we had the infrastructure in the first, if you'd bothered to invest in the infrastructure for immigrants, because this stuff was happening before the pandemic, if you'd bothered to invest in the infrastructure for it, we wouldn't be having as bad of a problem, Bellend.
Of people arriving here illegally, often from safe third countries.
Safe third countries from which they don't understand the language! Are you stupid?
If the party opposite was really serious about this, they would realise that we have to stop illegal migration.
Oh. I'm getting severe cognitive dissonance because of this twat.
That we have to stop the exploitation of vulnerable people abroad. But they have opposed every single measure we have taken.
Because all your measures are bullshit. What's the point in voting or supporting measures that won't do fuck all? I'll tell you, there's no fucking reason. So stop harping on about it, you stupid smug prick.
They're not serious about this problem because they don't think it matters.
Oh, fucking! I swear, the Tories learn from the Russians when it comes to false flag operations. Yeah, let's say that the opposition are going to do what we have been doing, or what we're going to do, to try and get away with it. Why? Oh! Fuck's sake!
Very much, Mr. Speaker. Both myself and many of my constituents remember fondly the Prime Minister's visit to Ipswich when he was Chancellor.
I don't care.
We spoke about levelling up and he made it clear to me.
You know what? Bullshit. Fuck this shit. I'm not doing it. Like, this is the end anyway, so fuck it. Accountability? He dodged every single legitimate question put towards him about the problems that these Tories have made. Whenever that point was made, oh, it wasn't us, it was something else. Oh, that's not accountability then, is it, you fucking idiots? That's just dodging and avoiding responsibility. That's exactly what it is. I will not take arguments from Tories along this line. I just won't. Because they have no legitimacy anymore. None. No Tory has legitimacy in this area. Because it's all bullshit. Right. I'm ending because I need to calm down. I really hope this doesn't last much longer. Again, I will not try to make a call on when we're going to get a general election, because fuck knows. But, the breathtaking bullshit. I thought it was bad from the other two. He is just a face. And he's just a mouthpiece. A mouthpiece. It just... Ugh. I'm really pissed off. And I'm going to try and calm down now. So, blessed Thursday, everyone. This has been Shiadawita. Please like and subscribe and comment if you want. I know this has been, I rant and I rave, but I can't help it. These cunts wind me the fuck up. Blessed Thursday, everyone. Have a good day.